So proximity anti-airs are something that's important to understand in Mortal Kombat 11 and fighting games. The reason why I find this extremely important is because a lot of the times players will tell you, and this includes me, I will put myself in this party, that, hey, my anti-air doesn't anti-air from certain ranges, or hey, my anti-air doesn't work 100% of the time. Other fighting games are pretty much the same way, and I didn't really realize this until I was playing Street Fighter. This is why I think it's extremely important for players to play multiple fighting games or learn multiple fighting games, kind of understand why fighting games play certain ways and why they might work in a specific game that you play. So for example, I'm going to set Liu Kang to do an instant jump in. Liu Kang does an instant jump in, I can anti-air him as long as I time it right. If I time it too late, where his kick is already out, I'm going to get hit. Like you can see it you can hear her trying to come out and I'm getting hit by the kick. This is a effective anti-air from this range, but what happens is when Liu Kang gets a little closer, my anti-air gets stuffed, right? Well, that's because in this situation, your anti-air should be down too. So what you have to do is, you have to actually practice each individual anti-air. So when Liu Kang jumps from that range, you need to do a stand 1. As you see there, right? Oops, I missed the anti-air there. When he jumps from there, you need to do a down 2, right? You can actually do a down 2 from this range too, if you're good at reacting to the arc of the jump in. Down 2 is a universal option, obviously, with Melina. But being able to anti-air with different buttons is also extremely important because your stand 1 is actually 7 frames, so you have a little bit more time to react with the stand 1 than the down 2, right? Like see, like when he does a late jump in, I can get him when he's at the peak, or after the peak of his jump in, with a stand 1, if I react, right? Like, see? Like, he's coming down from the jump in, from the arc. But with the down 2, I can't really do that. See? Being able to do multiple different types of anti-airs is what allows you to anti-air in Mortal Kombat 11. For example, you still need to know how to flawless block anti-airs too. There's going to be certain anti-airs where it's extremely hard to react to them in time. So you're going to need to know how to flawless block, or even just flawless block a jump in to make Liu minus here and take your turn back. So I'm going to show a similar result in Street Fighter where Sakura has to choose between 2 different anti-airs depending on where M. Bison does his jump in. As you can see here, I can do a heavy punch, a crouching heavy punch, and I will anti-air M. Bison. Watch when he does it from about mid-range as a cross-up. I get hit. I either get hit or it whiffs. Now, obviously, you can change your anti-air here and do, I think, a crouching heavy kick. Yeah, it would be considered a crouching heavy kick. And I can get M. Bison out of the air. So this is not specific to Mortal Kombat 11. M. Bison, apparently, from what I've heard from the Street Fighter community, he doesn't have very good anti-airs on the ground. He can only air-to-air to get people out of the air. So again, this is not specifically meant for Mortal Kombat 11, as much as we like to believe that. I'm not saying that the anti-airs can't be improved. They should be in this game, for sure. They should be in the next MK game. But what I am saying is that, clearly, anti-airs aren't always designed to cover multiple jump-in options, right? You actually need to react to where your opponent is jumping from, and you need to understand spacing like any other button. So the people that are complaining that their stand 1s don't anti-air from every range, this includes me, are wrong. I'm sorry, but that's just the case. Now there are characters like Noob Saibot and Frost that can do a poke anti-air and it will cover pretty much any jump in. There's also special moves that don't necessarily grant invincibility like Street Fighter, but they low profile, so they pretty much still anti-air. Frost could do the latest jump here, right? The latest jump. And I could still anti-air because of how Noob crouches. I hear a lot, and I used to think the same thing, that characters should have a universal anti-air. But I think the reason why they don't do that is because they want some uniqueness with the characters. Now, only if we could get that with flawless blocks, right? But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have fun playing MK11 and finish him!